to thank Chairman Payne, Ranking Member Crawford, Chairman DeFazio, and the members of the committee for allowing me to speak on behalf of my constituents today. My name is Judge Trey Duhon, and I serve as County Judge for Waller County, Texas. Neighboring Houston, we are both suburban and rural and a minority-majority county, which creates a diverse and unique set of impacts on our citizens related to growth and infrastructure. I'm here today to provide a real-world perspective on the Texas High-Speed Rail project promoted by Texas Central Railway. I'm not opposed to high-speed rail, but if you believe high-speed rail can provide the American people with the cheaper, greener method of mass transit, please listen to me that Texas High-Speed Rail project does none of those. Since 2014, Texas Central has promised landowners and elected officials that no tax dollars would be needed for its private project, that it would only cost around $10 billion to construct, and it would be operational by 2021. Texas knew better, so it passed a law in 2017 prohibiting the use of state funds for private high-speed rail, which is still in effect today. Then, just last year, Texas Central's chairman, Drayton McClain, admitted in a letter to a Texas state senator that the project had turned into a $30 billion project, meaning costs have tripled without even putting a shovel in the ground. He also admitted that the project would not be privately financed, sharing that they were going after stimulus money to fund the project. Why the sudden change? Because over the past 7 years, Texas Central has secured only $450 million, to our knowledge, in private financing, which includes a $300 million loan from the Bank of Japan, just 1.5% of the project's $30 billion current price tag. Even if Texas Central had $30 billion, they do not have authority under Texas eminent domain law to acquire the 240 miles of private property along the proposed route, an issue that's still being litigated before the Texas Supreme Court. In addition, when the Surface Transportation Board took jurisdiction over the project 10 months ago, it made clear that Texas Central cannot begin any construction or operation unless and until it submits a full application for a construction permit, which TCR has yet to file. Assuming it ever does, this hard-look full application process will take years to complete. In the final days of the Trump administration, the Federal Railroad Administration, for the first time in its history, issued a rule of particular applicability, creating a carve-out for the Japanese high-speed rail technology TCR wants to use for the project. But again, the FRA said this does not grant authorization to construct or operate the project either. To put it bluntly, Texas Central is in no better position to build the project today than it was before the STB and the FRA rulings. Then there is the issue of feasibility. As I speak here today, not one government agency has evaluated whether the project is economically viable. In fact, during the EIS process, the FRA removed economic viability from the project's purpose altogether and proceeded with the study, feasibility absent. What's worse, Texas Central has overstated ridership while underestimating cost, a recipe for disaster. As one expert put it, quote, "Based on our experience and analysis, we are concerned that Texas Central's project will fail so spectacularly that privately financed U.S. high-speed rail lines may never be given a second chance." So I am urging you to proceed with extreme caution. Before you decide to give billions of taxpayer dollars to build this private project, consider why you should simply take this company's word that construction is around the corner and the project is financially feasible, when history has proven that their words mean nothing. What is the benefit? The project is not interoperable. It is totally incompatible with and disconnected from any other existing and future rail lines. And the exclusivity doesn't end with its tracks. Ticket prices will not be like the Metro. It will be for the business class. If the goal is to build connected rail systems accessible to all travelers to strengthen the national rail network, this project is not the answer. If it is built, the project will hit rural and minority communities along the proposed route like mine the hardest, including at the other end of the proposed route in South Dallas, where entire low-income and minority neighborhoods would be displaced because only one route was ever considered. The Department of Transportation recently halted expansion of I-10 and I-45 near downtown Houston due to similar concerns. In closing, I urge this Congress to invest our precious and limited tax dollars in infrastructure projects that would benefit all Americans. Have we not learned anything from the taxpayer-backed disaster in California? Texas Central promised its project was privately financed, and everything they've done to date, including the EIS, was based on that. So we say let it live or die in the free market. invest our tax dollars in more equitable transportation solutions. We should not have to pay for another train to nowhere while having our communities destroyed by the very tax dollars that we work hard to contribute. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the people of Waller County.